Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to Friendsim 2. Where we last left off, we managed to get our salivation ending. But let's just try and get a revolution ending now, shall we? It shouldn't be too hard, since we know what to expect now. But we'll see, who knows what will happen. Continue to next volume. This route contains content warnings for existential/identity crises, unreality, gaslighting, discussions of child abuse and grooming, depictions of death. Player discretion is advised. The world revolves around itself around you, fading slowly into view in a way that feels unpleasantly familiar, a shade of green you remember from a memory you're not sure you even have. Also, I have to adjust the volume. On the horizon, the pink moon and its tiny satellites shine like a pair of jewels in the night sky, too bright and too close, as if the place is transformed in space and time, as if reality has lost some of its grip here. Next to you, Tricia is struggling to her feet as well, her Triton lost to a planet that now hovers like a dull gray stone in the distance.
What happened?
You can hear the sharp intake of breath as she realizes where you are.
No, this is impossible. No one goes here.
Yeah, well, you're here now. You look around nervously, expecting him to show up again at any moment. Of course, he isn't here, probably trying to make some grand statements. You glance down at your palm husk. Imperial network not found. Your palm husk cannot connect to the Imperial network. Try restarting your palm husk and trying again. If the issue persists, report for a mandated device replacement. Well, that's certainly not a good thing.
This place is forbidden. Even I never understood why, but it was always made clear to me. I don't even think the Imperator would have come here.
You're pretty sure that he wouldn't. This is actually kind of a place you don't go unless the man in charge actually wants to speak to you. Speaking of which, it would probably be a good idea to get going. You don't know how, but you have a very specific idea of which way you should go. You walk through the valleys of the green moon in silence, looking around cautiously as if he's going to jump out of you from every crater or blind corner. And then, you finally see it. The Order's place.
What is this?
You're not sure if there's any answer to that.
My dear heiress, it's simple. This is my home.
Holy crap, you ramble backwards away from Scratch, but your legs have decided that now would be a great time to stop working very well.
Oh, relax. I believe there might have been something of a misunderstanding before.
What the heck? He tried to kill you.
Well, you are essentially correct. Your overly reductive view of things misses some key nuance. Namely, I am not trying to kill you now.
That's not very reassuring.
Nor do I plan to. While there was a time when I was sure that it would be the appropriate course of action, the board has shifted in the time since.
Who the fuck are you?
You may call me Doc Scratch, if you like.
He turns to you again, and you get the sense that he's glaring at you.
Now, I cannot express how deeply disappointed I am that you chose to kill the High Imperator.
You shake your head. Actually, it was Nikki who killed him in the end.
Oh well, it's more of an inconvenience than anything else. Also, to further expand on my previous answer to the good heiress here, I'm the one in charge of this miserable planet and the empire it represents.
Shirza laughs at him.
The hell you are!
There's no reason I need to engage in a back and forth with you. The truth is that I have always been here, since long before your miserable race of gray-skinned misanthropes existed in the first place. My role has always been that of the inevitable, the same natural force as that which binds together the very atoms that make up your existence.
Why does he care so much about all this anyways? Why does it matter that what you do or what any of your people you know does?
Honestly, it mostly doesn't matter at all. What you do is largely of no consequence. What most of your friends do is irrelevant. But this one?
He gestures to Trizza, who takes a step back and glowers at him.
This one has a larger role to play in my grand plans. Whether she is aware of it or not is completely irrelevant. The bottom line is that your meddling and her stubborn refusal to push you away have resulted in a set of criteria that are unacceptable, and as such...
Mr. Scratch, what's going on? I heard someone in the hall and...
Actually, I still need to just... Okay, that's a bit better. Oh, crap, you recognize this girl. She's a little younger than you remember seeing her last, and she's wearing a different outfit, but you know exactly who this is.
Oh, Damara, are you simply going to barge in like this?
I'm sorry, Mr. Scratch. It won't happen again.
And you won't even introduce yourself properly to our guest. How rude.
I'm sorry.
She turns to you with a pleading look like floating across her eyes before she bows her head.
My name is Damara Megiddo. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You want to explain that technically you know each other, but you can't quite put your finger on exactly why you even feel like this is true.
Another memory of a timeline that never was, perhaps. You really should learn to cultivate your perception. Ms. Megiddo is my apprentice, my handmaid, if you will.
Mr. Scratch, who is this?
Oh, just a somewhat annoying nobody who likes to drop in and play games they don't understand.
Hearing this, Tamara lifts it and she smiles.
I love to play games. Can I play a game with them? I've been so bored.
You know, that gives me an idea. Damara, come along.
You find yourselves in Scratch's parlor once more. What's happening?
Well, my dear Damara here has given me an idea. What if I were to tell you that, theoretically, I had a way to return you to your home?
Oh crap, does it mean he can give you powers back so you can teleport everyone back to the locked timeline?
Something like that. And, moreover, I am prepared to allow you to return home. Not only that, I'll permit you to collect whatever friends have agreed to return with you and take them along. As I implied earlier, they are ultimately of little consequence. Why, I'd even be willing to part with her.
He gestures to Trisha, who narrows her eyes.
Stop talking about me like I'm not here.
My dear, you need to learn that there are bigger things in this timeline than you.
Okay, this all sounds like a huge load of crap. How do you know he's even telling the truth?
As I said to you before, I never lie.
But you skirt around it.
Honestly, the setback of losing dear Trizza here will be worth it in order to test my young handmaid's performance in the field. After all, she has such a role to play in my plans, and she needs to learn to operate outside of my watchful guidance.
Demira shifts uncomfortably at this, but you can see a look of eagerness in her eyes.
Honest? I'd be able to leave the moon.
Now, only for a short while. But yes, I'd be willing to hold myself to these conditions.
It feels like there's a big catch somewhere. Scratch shakes his head and lifts his hand. When the world snaps back into being in front of you again, you find yourself in what looks like an old-time game room. Billiard table sits in one corner along with a table that appears to be set up for a game of cards.
I don't know that I'd call it a catch exactly, but there are conditions, of course.
What the fuck? Who are you to talk down to us like this?
You're going to be irritating. I can tell. Let's get you settled somewhere else for a bit. Much better. Now, Ms. Megiddo, are you planning to be similarly disruptive?
No, Mr. Scratch.
Good. Now, about the conditions. I can't simply let you abscond with all those people and the heiress herself. The consequences to my timeline could be dire.
You're not really sure seeing how you could do anything about that. What does any of this have to do with you leaving his timeline completely? Not that you necessarily want to leave anyone behind here, but you really need to get getting back.
Oh, don't worry about it. I have a method by which I think I may be able to ascertain my comfort with letting you return home.
Oh, you're listening.
Of course. I suspect that some of the strange effects of your return are due to your oddly prescient awareness of the narrative itself. An awareness that I, unfortunately, helped cultivate, perhaps not fully realizing the possible implications. However, I do not believe that this situation is completely untenable.
Okay, that's a whole lot of words again, and he's rapidly losing you. Is he gonna ask you to read Homestuck again? You really don't want to do that right now.
Oh no, not exactly. Instead, I propose a simple test.
What kind of test? 'Cause that does not sound good. What the heck is happening?
Simple. I'm going to ask you a series of questions based on your experience with that one long-form narrative I asked you to read. I will assign your answers to a point value in order to evaluate your understanding of your place within the narrative itself.
So he's gonna make you do a Homestuck quiz game?
I wouldn't have put it in such banal terms, but essentially, yes.
This seems like you're not sure. It feels unnecessary. You promise you're not coming back after you leave.
Oh, my dear reader, you can't come back once you return to your timeline. I'm quite sure of that. The issue is more one of the impact of what you've already done here. After all, you've made substantial changes to the narrative of this reality. This is the simplest way to assuage my own feelings about letting you go.
You guess that makes sense?
Of course. Why, I'll even let my young apprentice stay and observe.
Me? But, Mr. Scratch, I don't understand.
It will be a valuable learning experience. After all, you and I have much to accomplish yet.
You'll do it. This might not be ideal, but it seems a whole lot fairer than him trying to smash your head in with a crowbar.
Excellent. Then let us begin.
The thing is, you can't actually answer any of his questions. Well, there's like one or two you can, but for the most part, you can't answer it the first time around.
My dear reader, there's really nothing to worry about. Now, allow me to introduce the parameters of this little game, if you will.
That's right, Doc. It's time for Pester Quest 2, the ultimate in home entertainment. I'll be asking you questions about Homestuck, Hive Swap, Pester Quest, and everything. Answer right, you get a point. Answer wrong, you get nothing. Nice and simple, right, Doc?
That is completely correct.
Let's see if you can beat our current high score winner with over 65 billion points, Clover.
Clover?
Now, let's get that score up on the board. Time to see how well you know canon, post canon, and beyond. Good luck. First question. What was Friendsim 2's original tagline?
Officially unofficial?
Sorry, that was not correct. I can't believe they missed that one. Next one up is a real head-scratcher. What is Doc Scratch's canon height?
Never stated.
Sorry, that wasn't right at all. It was a tricky one, that's for sure. Our next question is... Who was the villain of Pester Quest?
Lucifera? There's technically
Sorry, that wasn't right at all. What could possibly go wrong? Apparently, a whole dang lot. Next one up is a real head-scratcher. What is the name of the pocket grub?
Pernilla Bicke.
Fantastic answer. Next one up is a real head-scratcher. Who is the main character of hit webcomic Homestuck?
There technically isn't one. I guess June Edberg.
Ooh, so close. But that wasn't it. It was a tricky one, that's for sure. Next question's a bit tricky. What is Doc Scratch's canon catchphrase?
My dear reader.
Sorry, that wasn't right at all. It was a tricky one, that's for sure. Next one up is a real head-scratcher. What was Credia doing in Friendsim 1?
He's dead.
I really thought you had it, but I guess not. It was a tricky one, that's for sure. And now for our next and final question. Which Homestuck character famously lost a finger?
None of them. Gee.
Ooh, so close. But that wasn't it. It was a tricky one, that's for sure. And that is it for today. Doc, let's see how they did. Ooh, that's not very good at all. Sorry, you'll have to do better than that.
Ah, how unfortunate. I'm sorry, my dear reader. Now, I believe we have other business to attend to.
Well now, this is unfortunate. Truly unfortunate.
Wait a minute, maybe you don't remember the source material that well, but you feel like at least a few of those questions even have a right answer.
Now. I made sure that all of those questions were equally fair and balanced.
Mr. Scratch, I don't think I...
Silence. I will not stand here and be accused of providing you with anything less than my utmost efforts to give you the chance you deserve to go back home. If you truly believed in yourself, perhaps you could have done better.
You're not sure if that works like that, but Scratch is already turning away from you.
Now, I have another matter to attend to, as you won't be leaving for the foreseeable future.
Wait, what?
Oh, I must have neglected to mention it. I cannot simply let you leave anymore. The consequences are potentially devastating. Don't worry, my dear reader. I don't plan to do violence to you. I simply ask that you stay here.
Oh, well, that kind of sucks.
And while you're here, I would ask that you kindly keep an eye on Ms. Megiddo here. She tends to slip away somewhere when I'm not watching, and I don't feel entirely comfortable leaving her unsupervised.
You guess you can do that. Is there any chance that he'll reconsider letting you go back home? You really, really weren't planning on spending your functionally infinite lifespan hanging out on the Green Moon.
I can't promise you anything, sadly. Perhaps we can discuss this at a later point. For now, I would ask that you not disturb me.
You find yourself standing in the weird game room, now alone with Demira. She looks at you with a pleading expression in her eyes.
We shouldn't bother him. He's going to be in this office for a while. I can show you around the mansion. Maybe answer some of your questions.
Last time with my Salvation Art, I went to talk to her, but no, you need to talk to
Are
Scratch.
you sure? This doesn't feel like a good idea. Mr. Scratch doesn't like to be disturbed when he's working.
No, you know what you're doing. Scratch is mean, but he doesn't mean he's completely unreasonable. He seems to have figured out that killing you isn't going to work. So you just need to find his office to talk to him and explain the situation.
Okay. I guess we can do that.
You walk into Scratch's office, an oddly small room with a desk in the corner where Scratch sits at a typewriter.
Oh, it's you again. Demara. I thought I told this one to mind you.
Oh, yes, Mr. Scratch, you did.
So, why are they bothering me in the middle of my important work?
They asked to come see you.
And you simply complied? Demara, you owe only one person that level of obedience. You know that, right?
Yes, Mr. Scratch. I'm sorry.
Sadly, your being sorry does nothing to address the central issue here. This naivety is so unbecoming for either of you.
You just want to talk to him. You really want to get back home, and you're really sorry that you even bothered him in the first place.
I do appreciate that, but I believe that your presence here will be less tolerable than I previously suspected. Damara, kill them.
What? No!
Yeah, you're with her on this one. What the heck?
Damara, need I remind you what happened the last time you defied me? Or perhaps we need to have another look at all of the horrible things that will come to pass if you don't listen to me. Is that the object lesson you need to finally learn?
No! I don't need to see that again! I don't need to see them all die again!
Well then, I believe that settles the matter. Kill this one, and then go to your room.
No, wait a minute. Don't you get a say in this? You know things are crappy up here, but to kill you just like that?
You don't understand. I have to do this. Otherwise, it'll just get worse for everyone. I can't do that again. I'm so sorry.
Childhood's ends. Can't so see you now.
They're all gone now. Sorry if you were expecting them to have something else to say, I guess.
Yeah, you feel like was going to be some big point to all of it, but you haven't heard from them since before you showed up at Triz's tower.
That's too bad. I really believed in you. I still believe in you. You know what? Maybe I can send you back. I did it before. Good luck. I'll be cheering you on.
Yeah, it's probably a good call.
Well, come on, let's go.
Tamir motions for you to follow her and quickly disappears around a corner in the back of the parlor. You try and stay close behind, but she's already up and around a set of stairs at the far ends. For a moment, you wonder if maybe you shouldn't have gone to try and talk Scratch, but that doesn't really feel like the right call to make. So instead, you rush after Damara, who up the stairs and around another corner, and into an open door at the end of a long hallway. The room at the end of the hall is sparse. Honestly, it's almost completely empty. A bed sits in one corner, an empty desk in another. There's a wardrobe against the wall, and that's basically it.
Well, this is my room. Sorry, it's not much to look at. I don't have any cool stuff like she does. Sorry.
You're not sure who she means, but you're sure that it doesn't matter how much stuff she has or doesn't have. Not to you. Got this. After all, you have a non-zero amount of experience consoling moody Altarian teenagers, helping them work through issues with life, society, creepy abusive pseudo-parental figures, all that kind of stuff. So, how did you end up here? Tamira squints at you and shakes her head, looking off to the side.
I'm sorry. I'm not actually sure. I don't remember any time I wasn't here. I think that maybe I was really little. A wiggler? Maybe even a grub?
So wait a minute. Scratch stole her when she was just a baby? Demir looks uncomfortable when you say this.
He says he adopted me.
You don't know about that. Sounds like he was, stealing a goddamn baby.
Is a baby like a grub? Sorry, I don't know the word.
Yeah, sure. But that isn't the point. Scratch took her when she was so little. What happened to her Lucis?
He told me that something happened to her when I was a grub. She was killed.
Okay, you're gonna agree to put a pin in this and pin that and come back to you later. She's been here a while then.
Well, I'm 6, so yeah, my whole life basically.
You do some quick mental math. If she's 6 sweeps, that means she's around 13 years old. So Scratch took her a baby, probably killed her Lucis and raised her as an apprentice. Great. So what does she do for
I'm
Scratch?
his apprentice.
She trails off and looks around the sparse bedroom, her face turning into a scowl.
I do whatever he asks me to do.
That's extremely unsettling to hear. What kind of stuff does she ask her to do anyways? Demir shrugs.
I don't know, just things. Weird things, like having me go and make small changes to stuff.
Changes like what? Demir looks even more uncomfortable when you ask this.
It's hard to explain. He asks me to steal sometimes, or plant things, or, kill people.
Wait, what the heck?
It's bad people. He tells me to kill bad people, not grubs or wigglers or anything. But also, if I don't do it, if I fail, he has me. Look, don't worry about it.
She stops talking and starts picking at her fingers on her left hand, looking down at the ground. What does he make her do if she fails? Demir looks up at you, her eyes starting to tear up.
He makes me visit them all again. My friends.
Her friends?
I'm not sure the best way to describe it, but I can try.
It's okay. You explain in a tone of voice you really hope it's soothing. You dealt with some truly mind-boggling space-time crap. You're sure you can handle whatever she's got going on. Demir takes a deep breath and closes her eyes. When she opens them again, it's like a different person's looking at you.
I was supposed to make sure a bunch of people met up with each other. Some weird olive that was living in a cave and some rebels. A jade blood and her, she was raising a mutant blood like she was his Lucis.
Wait a minute, there's something eerily familiar about this story. You can feel your throat getting dry for all of a sudden. You think you know where this is going.
There were others, and I was supposed to make sure they all met up. He said it was important to the future.
She swallows heavily, and you can see the tears boiling up in the sides of her eyes.
Except they all died.
This time she sobs and bites her lip, as if that's going to keep the feelings from getting out.
But they were my friends. Kind of. I pretended to be a high blood servant who had escaped. I wasn't supposed to, but I did it anyway. I watched a mutant blood tell people how bad the Empress is. I lived with them for a while, and I felt like I had a family.
She's not the first troll you talked to who said something like this. You imagine the concept is a little different to Alternians, but you've heard it before. But wait, if she's talking about what you think she is, you're struggling to understand what you're hearing. There's something in there that feels so painfully close to the surface of understanding. But she's only 6 sweeps, and it sounds like she's talking about events that happened so long ago.
He says that linear time is an illusion, caused by chemicals in my brain. So, if I disobey, that means he can just send me back again and again.
Send her back where?
To when they all died. Again, and again, and again.
She shivers and tears run down her face freely. She doesn't even bother to try and wipe them off.
So he asks me to kill bad people. And I kill them.
Has she ever tried to escape? She laughs at you.
Of course I've tried to escape. It doesn't matter. Never makes a difference. He's too powerful. All he needs to do is retrieve me and then punish me. And I'm so tired of that. Even with my abilities, he can always find me if he wants to.
Her abilities? What does that mean? Demir claps a hand over her mouth and her eyes go wide with fright.
No, I wasn't supposed to say anything. Please don't tell him.
She doesn't need to worry. You're not exactly a huge one to scratch.
Good. But I still can't talk about it, okay? If he finds out.
She sniffles loudly and falls into silence again, and you don't feel right trying to force an answer out. Does she know what's happening on Eternia? Does she know about what you've been up to? Or, like, there's a whole revolution going on down there.
I know. I've seen it. Bits and pieces of it. Over hundreds of sweeps. I'm sorry. It's hard to explain. You see, we're not exactly in a specific time right now. Does that make sense?
Not even a little bit. Demir sighs and shakes her head.
See, we're on the Green Moon, but also the Green Moon is a special place. We're all living in a kind of pocket out of time as long as we're here. So the things that are happening down on Alternia, the things you did, are all happening in one timeline. And in another, a mutant with brilliant red blood is leading the first revolution. And in yet another, his followers try to carry on his legacy, and his descendant prepares to play a game that would change everything.
You think you know that one. The timeline stuff hurts your head to think about it. The idea that the rivers that branch and diverge all come back into each other.
Except, something is wrong now. It's not a river anymore, up ahead. It's a waterfall. It drops off, and then it's just darkness.
She doesn't bother to try and explain the statement at all, but you think you're starting to get the sense of what's happening. Something you've been doing, it's caused a major divergence in the timeline. The kind of fundamental shift that changes everything.
Exactly! I think it scares him.
So what's going to happen to you now?
To you? I'm sorry, I don't know. You probably have to live here now.
Why though? Scratch never really explained any of this to you, or why he was trying to kill you before.
Can you keep a secret?
Of course. Assuming she's going to ask you not to tell Scratch, which isn't really a big thing to ask to make. She knows.
He said that you were changing things by coming back. And then my friend said the same thing, so I know it was the truth.
Her friend?
It's a long story, but for you, I think you're changing things like he has me change things, causing a, divergent timeline. That's what he calls it.
Okay. It's starting to make a bit more sense why Scratch is so hostile to you. If you're causing a split in the timeline, maybe something about that is causing problems for Scratch. Is there anyone else here on the Green Moon? She mentioned a friend before. Is she... It sounds like someone that's here on the Green Moon. Is there someone else here on the Green Moon? Demia's face goes pale and she leans in close, putting her finger up to her lips as if to tell you to shut the heck up.
Sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no way that anyone would be here.
So when she
There was no one! I wasn't talking about anyone!
Oh, okay. Well, that must be really lonely living here without any company.
It is. I hate it here. I hate being all alone all the time. I miss all of them.
She closes her eyes and shakes her head slowly.
It doesn't matter. An illusion caused by the chemicals in my brain.
Well, that outfit looks familiar. You struggle to remember. She wasn't wearing this before. There was something about her old outfit, and you can't quite put your finger on what that was.
I didn't like it. He wanted me in it. But I found these neat clothes in the mansion, so that's what I'm wearing now. I burnt all the other ones, so he can't stop me.
Oh, didn't she get in trouble for that?
Of course I got in trouble for it. But I needed to do at least one thing for myself. One thing he couldn't take away from me.
Finally, Demira sighs and starts toward the door. Wait a minute, where's she going? Demira lowers her voice to a conspiratorial whisper, as if she's worried about Scratch over here.
You want to go meet my friend?
And with that, we're going to save this episode here. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path wherever it might lead you into the future. Bye, and hope to see you again soon.